welcome to Legal Lens. My name is Jonathan Gardner, and this is Nelson Mullins' monthly insights and perspectives on industry issues important to you, our clients, and in the marketplace. Today, we're going to be talking about the commercial real estate market, and I'm joined by Andy Litvak, our real estate industry leader. Andy, welcome, and thank you for joining today.
Thanks, Jonathan. Happy to be here.
With the recent economic changes like interest rate fluctuations, shifts in inflation, certainly the election, how do you see all of these factors affecting the commercial real estate market for the short and long term?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, interest rates are really the big feature in a lot of ways with commercial real estate transactions. Most investors, developers, et cetera, use debt. There's very few individuals and companies that, handle real estate transactions on an all-cash basis. There are some, but they're in the minority. So what's happened more recently with rates coming down, the transaction volume has picked up, which I think is making, everyone's happy about that. Investors, developers, attorneys, brokers, everyone in the industry, because borrowing has become a little more affordable, so to speak. I think that same trend is going to continue on a go-forward basis. We have a new Republican administration, obviously, in the White House. I think the overriding viewpoint is they are more business-friendly. Things like capital gain tax hikes are probably going to be less likely than you would see in a different administration. But again, what's going to happen is the impact of rates still being higher than they were, significantly higher than they were over the last number of years. There is going to continue to be pressure on borrowers and property owners who have debt issues, and those issues need to be solved because they have capital-starved assets, or big funds have redemption requirements, or people have to pull money out of stabilized pieces of property to help properties that are troubled. So you're going to see what you hear as value-add opportunities that are only going to increase in volume, so to speak, over the next number of years, in my opinion.
Right. Thank you for that. So describe the current state of the commercial market. Are there any emerging trends that investors and developers should be aware of?
It's really asset group, or food group specific, so to speak. There's just different niches and pockets always within the commercial real estate market. You've got the shopping center world and the industrial world and the apartment world. And so different areas are healthier than others. Let's take retail as an example. Retail has some of the lowest vacancy rates currently that it's had in years and years. And there's also been a period where they haven't actually developed as many retail and shopping center properties because there was this huge fear, around COVID that they thought, the malls and the shopping center environment was just going away. And that's not the case. That industry always evolved, and it's continued to evolve very creatively. But if you flip the coin, for example, and go over to the office world, that's a very challenged sector. The world has changed, the goalposts have moved, and that's a different story. So I think, for those that have worked in the industry a long, long time, everyone's sort of aware of the fact that different areas are hotter and others, are not. And that's just sort of the nature of the real estate cycles.
Right. We deal with, at our law firm, we deal with remote work and hybrid work. And, how is that remote and hybrid work coming out of COVID affecting the commercial real estate sector? What kind of repositioning opportunities are out there? What kind of distress is out there from an office perspective and other sectors? So what are you seeing around that new business model of remote and hybrid work?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I think this is one of the biggest changes and trends, in our generation that we're actually experiencing. The work from home situation is real. There's no question about it. But by the same token, I think leaders and, some of the senior statesmen, within companies recognize that the office isn't going away. It's a collaborative environment. You've got to be with people. You have to train people face to face, work together, share ideas. That being said, some of the trends are, there's no question, companies and large organizations are reducing their footprint. So you have a lot of office owners, REITs, institutional owners, entrepreneurial owners of office real estate, that they have some real problems on their hands with shrinking office footprints. Um, and there's also a flight to quality. So when people do come to the office, they want to draw them into the office. And the properties that are Class A, that are highly amenitized, that are close to mass transit, they're actually doing extremely well. But you have a whole section of commercial real estate in cities across America, they're really becoming obsolete. So you hear a lot about conversion activity, which is happening, and some of these office buildings are going to be converted for residential or for student housing, um, or in totally different uses. And there's, so from an office owner, investor perspective, you really have to look, and our clients are looking at their assets very differently, and you have to, make lemonade out of lemons and create value. So an example of that would be some folks that own, many clients that own like suburban office complexes. They're just not going to get the foot traffic and the volume of leasing and the rates that they needed to from a pro forma standpoint to perform. And they're gonna slice and dice that property. They're gonna subdivide it, and the pieces of that property are going to become more valuable individually than on the whole. And maybe they'll sell one of three buildings, for example, to a physician practice group, and they'll obtain, a higher value. And then maybe they can convert another, area of that property. But those are the kind of things that are going on. And I think owners and investors, they're leaving no stone unturned. They're talking to the cities, the counties, the quasi-government agencies. There's incentives that are available. There's subsidies that are available. Everyone wants, them to succeed, for the region and and just on a business level. But it's a different vantage point. And as always with real estate, you've got to be nimble, and you've got to be proactive. And so there's some really, neat trends that are happening as we speak.
I think nimble and proactive in a fluid marketplace is a great way to wrap it up. So, Andy, great thoughts. Interesting environment. It's very fluid. We look forward to staying in touch with you. Thank you for joining, and I hope this was helpful to those watching. Everybody have a great day, and thank you for joining Nelson Mullins Legal Lens.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, Jonathan.
Mhm.